Anyone knows what is ellipse? Can you tell me what is ellipse? How to define the ellipse? कोई बता सकते हैं ellipse क्या है? आप में से कोई देखा तो एक होगा ellipse? पता तो होगा ellipse बनता कैसे है? बनाया भी होगा कभी? सभी ने इंजीनियरिंग की है, राइट? ओके। एलिप्टिकल शेप सबने यूज किया होगा। ओके। किसी को नहीं पता एलिप्स के बारे में? No one knows the ellipse. Devesh, Vijay, Nihar. Okay. Okay. What's the call? What is this? Circle, right? This is a circle.
Circle.
Okay. And then here we have the inside the circle was stay. Here we have the same radius, the same diameter of this portion and same diameter of this portion also, right? Yes or no? Okay. Any each and every direction we have the same diameter, right? But we here to make your ellipse. Suppose you make a ellipse right here, okay? And then here this is your ellipse, right? Ellipse look like this way. And this case we have the circular part, okay? Not here any corner points, right? So we have only the circular part right here. But what's there? What telling? This diameter is different, right? This diameter is different and this diameter is different. Yes or no? This is your circle and this is your ellipse. An ellipse in circle we have each and every direction wants to have my diameter is same, okay, and also say the radius same. But in ellipse case we don't have a diameter is same, okay. Both are different, right? Circle are different and ellipse are different, okay. These are you may mainly used for the making of curve path, because here we can't be make a curve path as like a circle. For mostly we can create a curve path as like form of the elliptical, okay, because elliptical turn is easily to do when we construct your road and then with your railway tracks, okay, and then you want to specify the curve path, then we can mostly use the elliptical form of the curve path, not the circular form, because in the elliptical form turning is easily, but circular path turning is not easily, right? That's why mostly can create it, this type of thing. Okay, this is important for you all. Okay, come to the first, how to create the ellipse in your drawing, how to create your ellipse. You know about how to create the circle, okay? Then we come to the part is your how to create the ellipse. For elliptical drawing, you have this option, okay? Here we have the option, it's the ellipse option, right? We have the option of three types of ellipse by use of the center, axis, and an elliptical arc. But how can we create a direct way? For the ellipse, you can use EL. EL is your shortcut, okay? Take a EL first, and then here we have the specify axis endpoint. This is your first endpoint. This is your second endpoint, right? And after that, third endpoint. Okay. Every time we have to need 3 points. Okay. For ellipse, we need only 3 points. First, second, and third. Right? We need 3 points, and then we can create the ellipse. Right? But in the circle, we need 2 points only. Which point is? One is center point, and after that, your radius and diameter, whatever you have, then you can make this way. Okay. But here we have the know about the sequence. Sequence know what? First of all, this you can know about the center point, know about the this endpoint, and know about this endpoint. If you don't know about it center point, then you can use the endpoints right here. Right? Okay. Suppose I create a line is 100 distance. This is my 100 distance line, right? and I want to create this type of ellipse, and then here I check the L also for 25. Okay, then I enter EL first, and then here I calculate its first point, then select the second point and select the third point, and then this ellipse will be created, right? Okay. Can by use of the ellipse I can make a circle also? Yes or no? Yeah, correct. I create a circle also by use of the ellipse. Okay. How can we create this? Let's use it. Yeah, enter first point. This is your second point. Okay. And this is your third. And this is your show like as a circle. And then by use of the ellipse, you can create the circle, but use of the circle, you can't create the ellipse. That's clear? Okay. Okay. Then come to this part. How to ways to create your ellipse? कैसे कैसे आप ellipse बना सकते हो? So first point, you specify the first point here, and then here specify your length first. Okay, which length? Any length you can specify here. Suppose I specify that 50, right? And then here next length is there. Okay, in horizontal and vertical we have the different length, right? And then here I write here is a 50. Then what they look like is oval shape, right? This is your oval shape. Which one values you can take here? You can create this by way. Okay. And then for this part, we have other way is also is by center point. If you have the end point, then you can create the end point. If you have the center point, then you can create by use of the center point. How can we create the center point? Just C enter, and then specify the center point first. This is your center point, right? And then here we check your center point length is your, suppose here I take is a 50, okay? And then I want to take here is a 25, right? By use of this way, I create this type of things also, right? Okay. Two way. First of all, what you do for full length. First of all, diameter in horizontal way. Okay. Here we have the diameter, right? To select your diameter value is your 100, and then here this is your vertical value, right? Then this is your 25. By this way, you can create it. And then if you only know about the edges on both sides, then what you do, just select your center point first, C enter for center, and then may I select your center point first is 25, and then here we have the center point is your 50. Okay, that's clear. That's this way you can create your ellipse. That's cool. Okay, समझ में आ गया कैसे ellipse हम बनाएंगे? दो तरीके से हम बनाते हैं, सेंटर पॉइंट, एक्सिस पॉइंट, ओके, एंड पॉइंट से, एंड देन एक सेंटर पॉइंट से, राइट? क्लियर ऑल? आप सभी को समझ में आया कैसे हम ellipse को क्रिएट करते हैं? Device is a Nihayana cause. Okay. Then come to the ellipse. Other parts of the ellipse is elliptical arc. Okay. What is arc? Anyone knows about the arc? Arc क्या होता है? किसको पता है arc क्या है? Basic thing है ये तो, shapes के. Anyone knows arc? किसको नहीं पता arc के बारे में? हम्म. ऐसा कैसे चलेगा? कुछ तो बोलो. गलती बताओ, मुझे बताओ तो सही. दिवेश, विजय, निहाय, नकाश. किसी को आर्क के बारे में पता है? एनीवन नोज द आर्क? व्हाट इज आर्क? Okay. Arc is your curved shape but open, not a closed. This is your closed shape, right? This is your all closed shape, but arc is your open shape, right? When we create your arc, then your shape will be open. And by use of the arc, we can make your round of the roads. Okay, you round say make your elliptical form of arc formation of the railway tracks. Okay, if you want to make your design for the railway tracks, so where we place your railway tracks and the roads, then you can make this way. Okay, to circular way, right? How can we do that? Just click is EL enter first, and then here we have the option of arc. Okay. arc for A enter. A enter. Then first of all, specify axis endpoint of the arc. Okay. First of all, make the ellipse first. Here we make the ellipse first is 100, and then here we have the 50. And then when we make the ellipse, then after that you can make your arc also. Okay. First of all, I take a 0 degree, right? Okay. And then I want to take here is a 45 degree. Then what will you got here? Here we got the this way. Okay. How can we got this way? Although how can we don't get this here? Because I start the points is this points. That's why the anti-clockwise of the direction of the angle is start with this point, not this point, right? That's clear. And then I also already told about the angle. Always start with your anti-clockwise, run in the anti-clockwise direction. That's clear. How can we create this? Just use the EL first. First point you specify. Okay. And then first point you specify. Then right here is the distance. And then right here is the other distance. And then I select I don't select arc right here. First of all, I select the A enter for the arc, and then first point we specify. Then here we write is 100, and then here we write is 25. Okay, and then first angle starting angle is my 180 degree. Okay, and then next angle I write here is 45 degree. Then what will be created? Here we start this point right here, and then end with this 45 degree. Okay, that's why this type of arc will be created. That's clear. Okay. If you want to show this arc for the different sides, just use this first of all your A enter for the arc. This point you selected. Then after this is here we have the specify this point, and then here we have specified. Then here use a 0 degree and then 45 degree. Then this type of arc will be created because I take the first point is in this part, right? When we take here, so then my angle will start with this point, right? Okay, this is a way to create your endpoint. But if you create your ellipse by use of the center point, how can we arc will we make? Just so that EL enter first and A enter, right? And this is your axis endpoint. Not the axis endpoint, I take a center point to the C enter, right? First of all, I take this center. Okay, here we have the center, and then take this value. And after the next value is 25. Okay. And suppose here I take the 0 degree, and then here I take the 45 degree. Then what will become? This is your center, right? I take this center. Then next endpoint is your starting the angle. Okay. In this case, we have the where we take your angle value of the first point, then where the angle will be started. But after that, here we have to next endpoint because in the center point I can't start with the angle, right? Because in the endpoint he start with the angle. Then arc will be met, right? Okay. Then we create by use of this. Clear? How to create a arc, elliptical arc. कैसे आप elliptical arc बनाओगे समझ में आ गया आप सभी को? ओके ठीक है तो एलिप्स से रिलेटेड जो भी हमारे वर्कबुक में जो भी एग्जांपल्स है वो सारे करने हैं आपको राइट ओके एनी डाउट्स फ्रॉम एलिप्स सेक्शन किसी को डाउट है एलिप्स से एनीवन एनी डाउट्स फ्रॉम द एलिप्स कोई डाउट नहीं है ये सारे एग्जांपल्स आपको करने हैं ओके एलिप्स से राइट ये सभी एग्जांपल एलिप्स की हेल्प से करने हैं पेज नंबर 4 ओके वर्कबुक का then come to this part next point is your polyline okay polyline what is the polyline okay come to the polyline first what is your polyline here for the polyline we have the polyline option is this part okay यहाँ पे भी आपके पास polyline option है okay just click on the polyline here and then specify just click on this part right first of a start point and the next point okay you take it is 100 and the next point is your 50 and the next point is your 100 again and then C enter same thing I make by use of line command also right so if you take a L enter first point you specify then 100 then I mark this line here and then 50 then here I mark this line this direction and then check 100 and C enter Same process I use by use of the line, and same thing used by the polyline. First of all, what's the difference between there? Just see it. Okay. Here in the line section, we have the different lines. This is my different line. Okay. This is my different line. This is my different line, and this is my different line, right? But we can make any object by use of the polyline. What's the here we create this single object. This is my single object, not the different lines here. Okay. Here we have to make anything by use of line is different line. One point to second point is continue. This is my line, single line. And if you create another point, then this line is a different line. But in the polyline, if you make anything, right, use of the polyline, you this is your same single line, right? And then you can make also this type of thing by use of polyline also. Okay. Our section, page number 1 and 2 example, you can also make by use of the polylines. Okay. Same thing you can create by use of polyline also. For each and every direction you want to create it here. Okay, that's good. Okay, come to the next part is here how we use the polyline, and then also told about the polylines make for creating a single object of any type of shapes. Okay. Okay, suppose here I want to create the equilateral triangle right here. So the scale is here, it's 100, distance is here. And then I check the equilateral triangle is 120 degree, okay? And then here we have the 100 and then C enter for close the line. And this is my single object, right? Okay. Okay. And then what's the use of the poly? How many things I make by the polyline? Because in the line section we have only create a line, okay? But in polyline we have a multiple option also for doing multiple things, okay? What's they are? Just come to this part. Suppose here I take a PL enter for polyline. PL enter is a shortcut for a polyline. Okay. And then I hit the enter and specify any of them. First of all, specify the start point first. Here we have the start point. After that, we have the multiple option right here is arc, half width, length, undo. Undo is used mostly used for suppose here we create a nice line and then you enter and then again we go back to the first point, right? So undo is used for this purpose, okay? And then control Z also used for this purpose, okay? Don't use the U enter, you can use the control Z also, okay? Then come to the path is your arc, half width, length. What is the arc, half width and length? Suppose I here to make a 100 distance of line. And after that, I want to here, not a straight line here, I want to make a half circle, semicircle, okay? Then for this purpose, I use the arc, A enter, right? And then I create the 50 distance of the semicircle. Okay, this is semicircle right here. And then I want to create a straight line. Then how can we create your straight line? Just click again you L enter for the line. And then here we create the 100 distance. And then after this, again I want to create this arc. Then C enter. And then here you can write to click on it. Okay, and then hit the enter. This will be created. This is slot type design will be created. This design is called a slot. Okay. So by the use of this way, you can create this type of thing also. Okay. If you want to create a circle here, suppose I want to create circle also, then you can create this one. Okay. And then I make something valuable thing. Okay. This is also is a object value, right? By use of this way, you can create this type of thing. Right? तो ये चीज मैंने पॉलीलाइन से बनाई पॉलीलाइन में हम आर्क भी बना सकते हैं आर्क का ऑप्शन भी उसमें अवेलेबल है ओके जस्ट क्लियर okay then come to the polyline how many things are also created by use of the polyline first point we started here and then here we have the two things also half length and width length is generally used for the specify the length is how what the length of the line is okay this is just it okay this fee is I directly right here okay any of these things is directly right here so 550 okay and C enter for the closer line okay first here come to the next view of the polyline PL enter okay and then click on it and then here I want to create the half width and width though two options are also there what they are use and then how we use this for okay first of all talk about the half width okay for half width we take a H enter and then I take the half width is 10 and 10 okay then what's here this is my line width okay here we have the 100 of the line sorry and then hit the enter first and then the first next one is your create is a layer width okay PL enter, start with the first point, okay, and then here I don't use the half width. For the half width, I take the value 0, okay. For which enter the W enter first, and then right here is the 10 by 12, okay, taking the same length, okay, but here, what you see, here we have the only, here we have the darkest of this width. This width is larger and this width is smaller. Why? Because this is a single width, okay? 1.2 other points is your single width, but here we have the half width only. Take the only half width. Well, this means that here we this type of width right here, okay? This is my width, okay? So this created you width, okay? You can create this way. Suppose if I took here, check some color for this part, okay? And then also for applying a transparency also, okay. Okay, come to this part and I am enter first, and then I put here, and then I put this part here, and this is look like a half portion of this part, right? Okay, this is look like half portion of this part, okay. This is half portion of this part, right? That's clear. Okay, so it's what this is called a half width and single width, both are working as same. But for half width, we have to double this width, and then here we have the total width of this line is 20 mm. Okay, but this line is 10 mm only. This is a simple uh, difference between them. Okay. Oh, wait, 1 second. I have a call. Okay. Then we start the next point right here. Okay. मैं next point start कर देता हूँ आपको. Okay. So come this part. Again. So how to use this width? How can we use this part? Just use a PL first, polyline, start point we specify here, okay? And then, so first of all, I specify the width W, and then first point is I take as a 5 mm, and then second point I take as a, sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry for interruption. Okay, PL enter, okay? First of all, start this point, okay? And then I take the width half width, any of them you can take it here, okay. Suppose here I take the width is 5, and the next width I take is a 10. Then what will we show right here? What does it look like here? This type of still will appear. Here we have the width is in this portion start point have the different width, and then end point have a different width. Same thing we can done by use of the half width also, okay. For this way, how can we do this thing? Suppose I want to create someone is arrow symbol. Okay, by use of this way, you can create an arrow symbol also. Suppose W enter first, and the right here is 0, and then second way is 0, use a 10. Okay, and I create this type of arrow symbol, and then after that, again I use a width is 0 and 0, and this will be created, right? And then if you want to arc also, then you can create the arc, and then this will be your arrow symbol will be created, okay. And then if you no need the L enter, then you can create, okay. To show the flow diagram, flow charts of the any, because in the AutoCAD section you can also make your power plant layouts, right? Power plant layouts and flow charts, okay. To show this, how can you flow your details? Then you can use the arrow symbol right here, okay. For this purpose, you can create the arrow symbol by use of this way, polyline wave, right? That's clear. That's clear how we use the polyline and what's the use of the polyline and how can create the polyline. That's clear all of you. समझ में आ गया सभी को पॉलीलाइन क्या है पॉलीलाइन से हम कैसे क्रिएट करते हैं चीजों को Okay, next one is your spline. Okay, so just use the spline. What is the spline right here? For the spline, you use the SPL. SPL is shortcut key of for the spline. Okay, then enter, hit the enter of the spline right here, and then first point you click here. Okay, then next point you click here, and then third point you click here, and spline always show, and enter we click here. Always show for the curve path. Okay, always create the value as in form of curve path, not the line, straight lines. Okay, here we only show the curve path, right? And then this is the also a poly type of the polyline. Okay, because we have two points, any points. This is a single object. Okay, if you use for the single object, then you can use. Mostly the spline is used for tracing purpose, tracing anything, any object path. Okay, you have the object design, and then you want to test the object design and then make your own object. Then you can trace by use of the tracing way. Okay, in the spline we have some options also. SPL. Okay. First point, have you see? Okay. We have the method also. For a method, we can create am enter, and then we have two types of methods: fit and then CV. CF is cultivate for whiters. Okay. Fit for this part. Here we have the fit option. Click on the fit and this fit and this fit. This is your fit option. By default, this is your fifth option. Okay. And then if you want to convert this also, you can convert in this for the fit and CV also. Control vertices is your CV. Okay, full form the CV. And then what's the CV first? Then we talk about the CV one. SPL right here. And then use the am enter for the method and then use the CV option. Click on the CV and then here you click straight line. Okay. Bound behalf of straight line, we what to do, what we have to do. Okay. Here we click on it. Okay. And this will be created, right? By use of the CV. And all things all be done by use of CV. And then when we click in it, this is my flow of the value. I just click on the value. And then if you want to adjust this thing, just click on this way. And then also you can adjust of this part, right? And then you can adjust your thing. And then you have to show this value of this thing. Okay. And then again, this is you. Okay. And for the contour fit here, we have the points on your line, SP line. Okay. And then when we click on this, we can adjust also for this part. Okay. But you can also convert this in form of the CV and control versus when you give the CV, then this is your CV way. And if you want to control in the form of the control fit versus, then you can have the fit options right here. Okay. Both the options we can convert by use of this portion also. Just clear? Okay. Okay. Next one is you have, suppose you have the polyline. You create some polyline value. Okay. And then I want to convert this line in form of spline. Then how can we do this? Just remember that this is work only on polyline, not an spline, not any line section. Just use the spline first. Here we have the object option for O enter, and then just click on it. Okay, click and then hit the enter. Then what will you got here? We got the spline. I convert the spline polyline. Okay, only this work only on polyline, not a line. Okay, if you create by use of the line, this will be not work. Okay, it is only work on the polyline. If you want to create a rectangle, you can if you create a rectangle also, this work on the rectangle also, because rectangle is also a single object and make by use of the polyline. Okay, just use this SPL right here. Okay, and then what you select O enter for the object and select your object and then hit the enter. Then what you got here? Here we got this type of object also by use of this way. Okay, and then when we click this is your control vertices options. Okay, and then you can also click by way. This is your showing as a rectangle formation. I convert it into your SPL line. Okay, spline. That's clear. How can we use the spline and then how can we make this spline by use of the draw command? That's clear all? Yes or no? Okay, that's good. Okay, come to the next part is this. Okay. Next part is your arc command. You know what the arc command? What is arc command? What is arc? Sorry, not the arc command is there. I want to talk about the arc. What is arc? किसी को arc के बारे में पता है? अभी अभी मैंने इलेक्ट्रिकल आर्क के बारे में बताया, तो आर्क के बारे में तो पता हो गई आप लोगों को। किसी को नहीं पता व्हाट इज आर्क? आर्क इज सिंपल, इज अ पाथ ऑफ द सर्कल, path of the circle in open way, not a closed, because circle are closed, okay, but arc are not closed, right? Okay, here we have to create this is called a arc. Okay, here we have the path of the circle, this is a path of the circle, and this is not closed. Okay, this is called a arc, right? How to create the arc? Here we have the multiple options of the arc, and for the creating the arc we have the option shortcut is enter, enter, and then here what we do, specify start point of an arc, click on the first point, then click on the next second point, and after that click on the third point. Okay, this is your arc, and when you click on this part you have to specify also a center point, and this is not elliptical, this is a arc, right? When we want to create anything right here, then you can create by way this way. Clear? In this graph, we have the multiple option right here. Suppose you want to create a star center endpoint and then star center angle point. What you want to do, just use this way. Suppose it, I have a line. I create a line one, and this line I created. Okay, and then I want to create the arc here. Suppose what you do, here we have the option selected start, center, and end. Okay, here we have the start point. Here we have the center point, and then here we have the end point. Yeah, we have to take here the end point is this part. Okay, by this way you can create your arc. Okay, what we do, this we have know about the 3 points. First point is this, second point is your center point, and last point is your this. Okay, by use of this way you can create. Always you can remember, when we create your arc we need 3 points. Okay, whatever points are there, suppose this is 3 points and this is 3 points, which one 3 points you want, you can create it. Okay, you need only 3 points by creating the arc, right? And then first point is your start, center, and end. What you do, first of all select the start point, then center point, then end point, and by use of this way you can create your arc, right? And then I create this arc, right? Next one is your, suppose here I want to create is arc in form of angle, and then you have the angle. Okay, if you want to have the angle, then what you do, just select this part and then I move it. Okay. And then come to the next way. If you select here is center, start, center, and arc, then this is my this is start, center, and angle. First is for I select the start point, then center point, and then here we specify the angle. Suppose I want to create this in the 45 direction, then what you do, just right here is the 45 direction. Okay, then for this way you can also select this part, and then start point I take here, and then center point I take here, and then this is your 45 direction right here, then this part will be created. Okay, that's clear. And next point is your star center and length. What the star center length means? Suppose here I want to create the star center length. Suppose here I want to create a semicircle of this line. Okay, so select this part. First of all, specify the start point. Then second, specify the center point, and after this, specify the length of the arc. Which length? Where we join first point to last point. This length is told about the arc length. Okay. Okay. When we create this one also, suppose here I take it here. Start point, center point, I take it, and then I create this V. This line to this line is called my length. Okay. This length I will take here. Okay. This length. Okay. Where with two straight line joined with 2 points, this is length of the arc. Okay, then come to the what is next way is start and an angle. Start and an angle is means that when we want to create some line here, and then this is your start point, This is my start point right here. This is my start and this is my end point. And then I want to specify the angle. Which angle? Where if you want to angle is 90 degree and suppose I use a 90 degree, then you can use this part. If you again use this start point, I take the start point here and then start point here. Then you can right here is also a 90 degree. Then what's the gain? This type of thing will be given. Okay. And suppose in this case, I use this here is a start and an angle. If you create start and an angle, and then this will be make your arc right here, semi arc, okay. But you want to create your other way, other portion. Then what you do? Just paste the control. Okay, this will be reverse in order, right? Just convert into reverse in order. If you write here is here any options, okay. Suppose I want to create in the 45 degree, then this will be created, right? To paste the control and then this will be reversed. Okay, if you want to create this V. That's clear. Also, next one is your start and then direction. Start and then direction is simple. Is this start? This is end, and then same is the direction. Okay, which direction you want? Suppose you use this direction. Okay, then you can use this direction right here. If you want to this direction, then you can make this way also. Okay, suppose I want to create this direction 45 degree, then this part will be created, right? Okay. Then come to the next one is your start and then radius. Okay, if you have the start and then radius, suppose here I want to create a line. This is my line is of 100. Okay, and then I want to create again L enter, and then here. Okay, and then come this part. Here, if you select the start and then radius, suppose here my this is my start point. Okay, this is my end point. I take the radius is 50. Then this type of thing will be created. Okay. Which one is start point and end point we have? Here we have two things, start and I think the radius. Radius is will take by use of the center point, and by right here the radius, the center will be specified. Right? That's clear? Okay. Next one is your if this is opposite to this point, okay, start and end, same is the center, start and end. Okay. If you want to create this way, suppose you specify the first of all center point, and after that you specify the start point, and then you can specify the end point. This is your end point. Okay. Same is like above this type, but this is opposite way. Okay. Same is start center center start and angle. If you want to create the start center angle, suppose this is my start point, this is my end point, and then here we have to check the angle is 45 degrees, right? And then same way to start center and length. If you want to specify the start center and length, this is my center point, this is my start point, and this is your length. Okay, which length you want? Suppose I want to show for 50 length, this is my 50 distance, right? Okay, and then if you want to create you continue the arc, then what you do, just click on the continue button, and this will be continued. Okay, and then again, if you click on the continue, then when you stop your arc as last point, at the last point of the arc, the next arc will be continued. Okay, by use of this way, you can create many of things right here. So this type. Okay, suppose here I want to create this of three. Okay, every time, and then I create this thing. Okay, many of things you can create by use of this way. Okay, many of the designs are there. Okay, if you for this we have this data. Okay, also this parts of example are there. Okay, this is my arc example in page number 5. Okay, by use of the this example, today example, we make your page number 4 and 5 also, complete this part also. Okay, any doubts, any questions regarding this part? कौन सा वाला स्टार्ट एंगल एंड एंड एंगल, ये वाला, ये तो सिंपल है। यहाँ से आपको एक स्टार्ट लाइन भी खींचनी 50 की, राइट। अब आ जाओ यहाँ पे आपको करना कुछ नहीं, एल एंटर कर दो। यहाँ से आपको डिस्टेंस देनी है 50 की। ओके, एक आपने 50 का बना दिया, एंड देन बस यहाँ से आपको एक चीज देखनी है, वो है यहाँ से इसकी डिस्टेंस। ओके, तो एक काम करना, एक रेफरेंस लाइन यहाँ पे खींच लेना ताकि आपको याद है, ओके। एंड देन एक यहाँ से बीच से भी एक लाइन स्टार्टिंग में खींच लेना पूरी 100 की, ठीक है, ओके। और यहाँ से भी इसकी डिस्टेंस में 70 की लाइन यहाँ से खींच लेना, ओके, नीचे की तरफ। तो देख लेना कितनी डिस्टेंस है इसके बीच में। तो सपोज मैंने यहाँ पे रेफरेंस लाइन खींच लिया, अभी के लिए तो ठीक है। मैं यहाँ पे रेफरेंस लाइन दे रहा हूँ 50। अभी रेफरेंस लाइन दे देना, ठीक है। एंड देन यहाँ से मैं एक रेफरेंस लाइन दे देता हूँ, सेंटर पॉइंट से इस 100, राइट। बस ये लाइन बना दोगे एक बार तो आपकी चीज़ें बन जाएगी। अब मुझे बनाना क्या है, ये बनाना है जिसमें आपकी 45 डिग्री दी हुई है। इसमें क्या है, स्टार्ट एंड एन एंगल का ऑप्शन दिया हुआ है, राइट। तो आप क्या करोगे, यहाँ पे सिलेक्ट करोगे स्टार्ट एंड एन एंगल। हाँ, स्टार्ट एंड एन एंगल, दिस इज योर स्टार्ट एंड एन एंगल। तो आप स्टार्ट कहाँ से कर दो, दिस इज योर स्टार्ट, दिस इज योर एंड देन व्हाट्स योर एंगल इज 45 डिग्री। बन गया। सेम वे, स्टार्ट दिस पॉइंट बिकॉज एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन में हमारा एंगल चलेगा, तो 45 डिग्री, राइट, ओके। एंड बाकी इसके बाद वाली चीज भी इसी तरीके से बनेगी। क्लियर, समझ में आया, ओके। बाय यूज ऑफ दिस वे यू कैन क्रिएट दिस पार्ट ऑल्सो। समझ में आ गया, बन जाएंगे सारे, ऐसे है ना। तो यहाँ तक के सारे आपको कंप्लीट करने हैं, राइट, ओके। और आई होप आपने ये पॉलीगॉन के एग्जांपल्स भी कर लिए होंगे, रेक्टेंगल के एग्जांपल्स भी कर लिए होंगे, राइट, ओके। कोई डाउट, कोई क्वेश्चन, एनीवन, डिविएशन यहाँ, एनी क्वेश्चन? नेहा जोशी, हेलो। नेहा जोशी, कैन यू हेयर मी?
यस।
ओके। तो आपने लास्ट क्लास से कोडिंग्स वगैरह